Radhe Radhe. Today is Saturday, 27th September 2025. And happy Navratri as the special days continue. Welcome to this recap video of our Bhagavad Gita study session. Along with me, here is Mummy.
Radhe Radhe.
I'll bring up the screen as we take a look at the cover slide for the content we covered today, continuing along, of course, our journey of chapter 11. As always, if you look at the description for this video, that's where you can get a link to the community portal for all these slides and other reference material. And also in the description is a link to another website that you can also access for supplementary material. So plenty for your benefit and review. Please do take a moment to go through some of that. And now here, today we covered chapter 11, verses 46 and 47 after the usual recap quiz, which was for last week's content on chapter 11, verses 44 and 45. So with that, let us start off with chapter 11, verse 46.
Kireetinam gadinam chakrahastam ichhami tvam drashtum aham tathaiva tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishvamurte.
Chapter 11, verse 46 has a question as its catchphrase, armistice. It's something, as we discussed in class, for everyone to ponder about, play and pun on the word arm, of course. Armistice, as we know, is a suspension of hostilities, a ceasefire. We commonly know it as that. Is this about an armistice or a ceasefire? Well, we'll take a look. We saw in class as well. This is Arjun now. He's used many different appellations for Sri Krishna in the past. Now he addresses him as the thousand-armed one. Again, thousand is an insignificant proportion of the innumerable number of arms that Sri Krishna has or can have as in any form he wishes. But here it is the thousand-armed one, and even that is way too much. You divide that by 250, and Arjun is asking, please, can you get back at least to your four-armed form? He wants to work it down that way. And the four-armed form, he says, mentioning the mace or the club and the disc. And as we did a pop quiz in class, remember the ones that are not mentioned are the conch and the lotus flower. So those are the four elements you are always seeing and associating with Lord Vishnu's four-armed form. Of course, also wearing the crown on the head. So Arjuna is acknowledging with full humility, Sri Krishna, you are the greatest, you are the embodiment of all creation, the universes are all within you, and so on. But, I really am missing and desiring that Sakha form, the pal, the friend, the cousin, the buddy. So let's start with, first toning it down to the four-armed form. That's really the request that he's making here. So Swamiji tells us in the commentary that all this so far anyway has been because of the grace of Sri Krishna. When we get to the next verse, we'll also see a reminder about why even the cosmic form was displayed to begin with. But anyway, all this is the grace of God. And Swamiji also reminds us that this had happened before, and he'll tell us that in one of the in the next verse actually. But in the meantime, he does say that when we get towards the much later part of the Mahabharata after the war, that four-armed form had also been visible. Again, it was in the context of Draupadi, the Pandavas, and Ashwathama. So there's a shloka from the Srimad Bhagavatam there. What is the real essence is, of course, a reminder from maybe as early as chapter 4 that whichever form of the Lord it is, whichever avatar he takes, whatever display he manifests or shows, all those are the same God. It's that one God, the one supreme. So the four-armed form of the Lord is non-different from the two-armed form, which of course is that Krishna form that Arjuna is used to, or any of the other ones, thousand-armed form, infinite cosmic, Vishwaroop, and so on. As a reminder as well, we saw the flyer in class, if you recall, and it has this question, not desiring to fight, and now equipped with knowledge. Is Arjun asking others to give up arms? So again, we discussed this. There's a play on words here, the pun with arm. It is here, of course, remember Arjun at the start and even till now, he hasn't been desiring to fight. So is he in a way now with more and more knowledge and wisdom? In fact, remember last time the sword of knowledge, or a few times ago, is he trying to get others also to give up arms, not fight, have an armistice or a ceasefire? No, of course, that's the humor or irony here. It's also right about Sri Krishna. He's really asking him to reduce the number of arms he is showing to Arjun from infinite to 1,000 and 1,000 down to four. There's also don't forget this element here. It's sometimes about giving up. So it's not about giving up those arms or weapons because Arjun has to fight the war. We all know that. And in fact, he shouldn't give up on his faith or surrender. But yes, he should surrender to the Lord. So lots happening here, lots for you to think about, but it is again about that pun on the word arm. Next, we'll look at chapter 11, verse 47.
श्रीभगवानुवाच मया प्रसन्नेन तवार्जुनेदं रूपं परं दर्शितम् आत्मयोगात् तेजोमयं विश्वम् अनन्तम् आद्यं यन्मे त्वदन्येन न दृष्टपूर्वम्.
Chapter 11, verse 47 has the catchphrase with rhyme, seen, unseen. So this is a scene thus far that Arjun has gotten to view, to see, which is unseen. It has never been seen before. As we actually learn in the commentary by Swamiji, so chapter 11, verse 47 here, it is Sri Krishna explicitly saying that it was his grace, and because he was very pleased with Arjun, that he gave this view, this vision of his cosmic form. In fact, his resplendent, unlimited, and primeval cosmic form. And how he did it is, of course, by Yogmaya power. Mummy, in fact, had explained to us a good reminder from chapter 7, verse 25, taking us down that to help us again connect with Yogmaya and the concepts. So again, Swamiji says here that this is nothing to do with any kind of punishment or inducing of fear. It is actually a grace, a gift of the Lord to Arjun. Because also remember, Arjun had asked the Lord to show that form. He had beseeched him for that cosmic form much earlier at the start of the chapter. And then Sri Krishna had said, well, you can't see it the way you are. So let me give you Divya Chakshu. Let me give you that divine set of eyes, that divine vision. So all that again is with and only because of the grace of the Supreme Lord. Swamiji stresses here that there is hyperbole used by Sri Krishna because some element, right, of that cosmic form have been seen, by Mother Yashoda before, ironically, even by Duryodhan. Some of you are familiar with those episodes, but not to this depth or intensity or magnitude. We also, of course, got a good, again, as I said, reminder of Yogmaya and the connection, of course, as this special Navratri season is going on. And again, it is with that Yogmaya power, that virtue of that energy, God can take on infinitely many different sizes, forms, shapes, etc. And opposite ones, contradictory ones, possible and impossible ones, all at the same time. Again, that is the power of the Supreme Lord. With that, we'll hand it over to Mummy to give us some more concepts as well and some Sanskrit words and explanations.
So let's see the word Sahasrabahu from verse number 46. So Sahasrabahu means 1,000-armed one. So what is happening here? Arjun has seen the God's universal cosmic form, which is huge, 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 with many, many innumerable arms. He has seen that he is the embodiment of all creation. Everything is created from him, within him, and everything goes back within him. All the universes are lying within him. So Arjun says that, oh God, thank you so much. You have shown me this universal cosmic form. I am grateful to you in gratitude. But Lord, I don't want to get into this Aishwarya Bhakti. I do understand that you are the Almighty, but I want to see you back in your Chaturbhuja Roop, that original four-armed form of Lord. Okay, that is the Vishnu form. And of course, from there, he wants him to get back to the normal two-armed human form where they were as friends, and he could be really very close to Sri Krishna as a buddy and as a pal. That is what Arjun is asking from Sri Krishna. He says that he wants to see him as his friend. So he wants to get back into that beautiful devotional sentiment of Sakhya Bhav, where he has a very special, personal, friendly relationship with Sri Krishna. Verse number 47, we will look into the word Atma Yogat. Atma Yogat means by my Yoga Maya power, because this verse is spoken by Sri Krishna. This is Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. And now Lord Krishna is, he is pacifying Arjun. And he's saying, okay, I understand, but please don't be scared. It was a special, that I had bestowed a special vision on you to show you the universal form. That was a grace, not a punishment. So you don't be afraid. But why I showed you? Because I was very, very pleased with you. Okay. And you are the first one to see it. So it was just to explain to you. And how does this happen? Then Sri Krishna says that he can do this with his Yoga Maya energy. And what is the Yoga Maya energy? That Yoga Maya energy is God's divine power. It is God's all powerful energy. By virtue of it, he manifests his divine pastimes, his divine love, bliss, and his divine abode. By that Yogamaya power, God descends in the world and manifests his divine pastimes on the earth plane as well. By the same Yogamaya power, he keeps himself veiled from us. Although God is seated in our hearts, we do not have any perception of his presence within us. Yog Maya keeps his divinity obscured from us until we are eligible for his divine vision. So basically, here Arjun was eligible for his divine vision. That is why Sri Krishna had shown him his universal cosmic form. So, and also, it is by virtue of this Yog Maya energy that God is Kartum Akartum, Anyatha Kartum Samarthaha. Because of that energy, he can do the possible, the impossible, and the contradictory at the same time. So, this is the Yoga Maya power. Because of that, God can manifest in personal form, and that is how we Hindus we worship God in different personal forms, and of course, there is one very important form, that is the Divine Mother of the universe. So, in the form of Radha, Durga, Lakshmi, Kali, Sita, Parvati. And with God's grace, these days we are celebrating Navratri. And during Navratri, we pray to the 9 forms of Devi Ma. And we all know the 3 important forms of Devi Ma, that is Mata Ma Kali, then Mata Ma Lakshmi, and Mata Ma Saraswati. In the form of Mata Ma Kali, she gives us power. In the form of Mata Ma Lakshmi, she bestows us with wealth and prosperity. And in the form of Mata Ma Saraswati, she bestows us with knowledge and intelligence, buddhi. So today we did a small segment of little prayer to that Devi Ma, and we did Aarti of Devi Ma. So I will sing 2 verses here just to bring that celebrative and devotional atmosphere of Navratri. So it goes like this. जय अम्बे गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी तुमको निश दिन ध्यावत हरि ब्रह्मा शिवरी ओम जय अम्बे गौरी मांग सिंदूर विराजत टीको मृग मद को उज्ज्वल से दो नैना चंद्र बदननी को ओम जय अम्बे गौरी सच्चियां जोतां वाली माता तेरी सदा ही जय. So Gagan will send the link along with the video, and you all can practice your devotion with this Aarti to Devi Ma. Still, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there are still 3 days of Navratris. Tuesday, we will celebrate Ashtami, and you can practice this Aarti to Devi Ma. Over to you, Gagan.
Thank you so much, Mummy. And indeed, such a wonderful divine connection with the verses of the Bhagavad Gita, the commentary, and how they absolutely roll over to Navratri and are the sentiments for the Divine Mother. Well, we look forward to seeing you all next week. Continue to practice and progress along everyone's individual spiritual journeys. Enjoy the rest of Navratri, as Mummy mentioned. So that'll be next Saturday, 4th October 2025, 8 a.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. India time. Till then, thank you so much. Radhe Radhe. Jai Mata Di.
Radhe Radhe.